Hi you guys, it's Jeffrey and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about how to save money as a young adult. I've put a lot of time and thought into preparing this video for you. I'm very excited for you to watch it. I have some referral codes in this video that you can use to sign up for a new savings account and or a credit card if you would like to sign up for either of those things. We both will receive a bonus when you sign up with my code. Saving money is an important topic that I am passionate about. During college, I took an extra course on saving money and budgeting, opening a Roth IRA, all of those important things that you need to do to learn how to save your money and start investing. My hope is that you can use my video as a starting point for learning about saving money, and you can take some of the tips you learned from my video and then find other videos to get more of your questions answered by people that are more professionals than I am. Before I get into this video, I want to mention that everyone's in a different financial situation, so this is just my advice with my personal experience to you. So just keep that in mind as you're watching this video. There's four main things I want to talk about today. The first thing is opening a high yield savings account. The second thing is creating a budget for yourself. The third thing is saving for retirement. And the fourth thing is about opening a credit card and building your credit score. I have a savings account with Chase. That account earns interest, but it earns 0.01% interest, which is not very much. It's about a penny every year. Depending on how much you have in it, you aren't always really earning anything. So my suggestion to you would be to open up a high yield savings account, which can earn anywhere from like 1 to 4% interest. I opened my account through Ally Bank, and this bank is entirely online. You don't have to go in anywhere to open it. The amount of interest that you can earn does fluctuate year to year. I think it just has to do with like the overall economy. So right now I'm earning 3.7% interest. Ally Bank is FDIC insured, so your money will be safe in the account, so there's no worries there. The reason I chose to go with Ally is one, because of their competitive interest rates. You can open high yield savings through Capital One. There's also a few other banks. Ally's rate was really similar to these banks. I also chose to open it through Ally because of their savings buckets, which I love. You open up your savings account and you're putting money into it. Sometimes it's hard to visualize what you're saving money for. And so the buckets allow you to put your savings into different categories that you want to save for. So in my savings account, I have a category for home, so I'm saving for a down payment on a house in the future. When I put money into the savings account, I can throw money in that specific bucket and work towards a goal. I also have a bucket for vacations, so I know that I want to set aside a certain amount of money each year for trips that I want to go on, vacations I want to take, spending money for that, so I have a bucket for that. I also have a bucket that's an emergency fund, so I have a goal of $1,000 that I'm working towards to save for emergencies. I think once I hit that $1,000, I'm going to up the goal to $2,000 so that I can just keep putting money in that bucket and keep earning a good amount that I have set aside for emergencies, things like car repairs that come up unexpectedly. The buckets were a unique feature to Ally that I didn't see other banks doing. The buckets are a super helpful way to organize your money and see where it's going, and it also helps motivate you to keep putting money into this savings account because you can set goals and then there's a progress bar of how close you are to meeting your goal. So it's super motivating to keep putting money into the savings account so that you can keep seeing yourself meet your goals. I've had this account for about 6 months now, I believe, and I have already earned $40 in interest, which is crazy because that's $40 that I would not have earned if my money was in my Chase account. Opening up a separate account from the bank that you primarily do your banking with can also be helpful because for me, I would just move money from savings to checking whenever I needed more money. This savings account that's in a whole separate app with a whole separate bank really allows me to take the money that I earned and set set it aside and then not even think about it anymore. It's not in front of my face with my daily spending money, because I think that when all of my money was in my Chase account and I had access to it at any time, it was tempting to spend it. But now with this separate savings account that I'm not even looking at every day, it's like the money's out of sight, out of mind, and that really helps me. If you do have more questions about Ally, you can definitely go onto their website. I will link it down below. They have a lot of FAQs that were really helpful to me when I was curious about opening this account. We can also chat in the comments down below if you have any specific questions for me and how I use this account, or anything about the setting up process. I personally have all the interest go into a specific bucket. You can choose where you want your interest earnings to go. I have it go into a separate bucket because you do still have to pay taxes on it, and so I want to make sure that I don't spend the money that I earned in interest before I pay taxes on it. Since I earned about $40, I think it's going to be $3 of tax on the interest. I don't really know yet until I file my taxes. I also do like it going to a specific bucket because then I can easily check how much I've earned in interest by keeping money in this account. Now I want to talk about making a budget to help you save. This is hard, especially if you're being paid inconsistently. Since I'm not a contracted teacher, my paycheck is very different month to month. It depends on how many days I worked, and it depends how many days were in that month that we were at school being paid. The school districts also only pay every month, and it's a month behind. At the end of this month in February, I will be getting paid for the work that I did in January. I am still living at home with my parents, so I don't have to pay rent. But what I do each month is I try to pay rent into my savings account. It goes directly into the home fund, so I just set aside. I think last month I did $1,000, but this month my paycheck's gonna be bigger, so I'm gonna try to do 1,500, which is more comparable to the amount I would be paying if I had my own apartment to rent. I'm really trying to take the money that I would otherwise be paying rent somewhere and put it directly into saving for a house. Since my paychecks are so different each month, I right now I'm taking it month by month, and if I can put more in savings, I put a little more. If I have to put a little less because I just don't have the money and I need it for other things, then I try not to stay too hard on myself. I think that once you have a fixed rate and a fixed paycheck, like once I get a contract to be a teacher and my paycheck is more or less the same every month, it might be easier to just consistently have a certain amount of money going into a certain account and then the rest of the money somewhere else. But right now it's just, I kind of have to take it month by month. I just created a table on my computer, and I'm going to walk you through kind of what goes through my head when I think about what I'm doing. So we're going to say that my paycheck's $2,200, which I think will be accurate for about what it is in January. So I'm gonna say that my rent is $1,500. I also have some giving that I do to the church, so we'll do 10% of my paycheck, which would be $220. Then I usually put the same amount, 10%, in my Roth IRA, which I'll talk about that later, but that's for retirement. Okay, so I have $260 left. I need to set some aside for groceries and some aside for gas. We'll see what I have left over. So I would say $100 for groceries, $100 for gas, and that's $60 left over. I would say that would be like $60 for like food, coffee, anything that I'm going out doing. This is kind of just what I'm thinking through in my head. If my paycheck was a little bit more, I'd probably stick some of this money into my savings account under the vacation fund, or if I had a little bit more, I would be sticking it in the emergency fund. The thing to remember about the budget though is it's different month to month. One month you might not spend as much on gas because you didn't go to as many places, but maybe that month you spent more on food because you hosted a dinner party. You have to see what's realistic for yourself and your spending habits, and just know that it could be different month to month. Now I want to talk about saving for retirement. You saw that I set aside some money to put in my Roth IRA account, which is my retirement account. I put money into it every month because I'm paid every month. You can put money into it as often as you want to. I just do it month to month because I do it right after I get my paycheck. Some people wait till the end of the year and then they just dump a big sum of money in there, but that's not really how I do it. I like to do it month to month. When you open this account, you put money into it and then you can invest that money in stocks. I invest in mutual funds, which nothing's guaranteed, but mutual funds are a little bit more guaranteed to be a safer option because the mutual funds divide up your money into the most popular stocks, a little into each one, and then overall those will earn you a little bit of money. I'm not the best at explaining how stocks work and how investments work, so please, there are some great videos out there that explain this better than I can. Since you'll have this account for a long time, if you open it while you're young and you start saving now, you can just keep putting money into it, keep investing, and then by the time you go to retire, you will have earned way more money. The key to this really is just being consistent and keep putting money into it as you can, not overdoing it, because once you put money into it, you don't want to take money out because you can be penalized for that and then you won't earn as much. You can only take money out of that account like once, I think, before retirement, and you have to be like a certain age, or you have to be using the money for a specific thing like a down payment on a house. I don't plan on touching this money. I just plan on putting it into the account and forgetting about it until retirement. The funds I invest in are called QQQ and VU. Every month, whatever I'm putting into my Roth IRA, I just put half to QQQ and half to VU, and I just buy them and then I just forget about it. And I know that it's earning me money so far because I've put in about $800 to this account and now it's valued at over $1,000, so that's really exciting. The reason I opened this account was because my university offered a course where they give you $100 if you go to this class. You open one of their accounts and you just learn about saving. I opened my account through Fidelity. There are other banks that have these accounts that are all great options. Fidelity is just the one that I went with. And again, it's super nice because it's a separate app than what I do my primarily day-to-day banking with. And so I don't even think about the money once I put it into my Fidelity account. The last thing that I want to talk about is opening a credit card. People can hear that and be like so scared, but I think people are scared because they don't know. They just associate it with debt and being a bad thing. Let me say this. If you open a credit card, you still have control over how much you use it. You can set limits for yourself. You can decide where you're going to use it or what you're going to use it on. But it's important to have a credit card so that you can start building your credit score, because if you do plan on buying a home or like financing a car, you need to have a credit score so that places can look and say, oh, we can trust you to repay your loan on this. I recommend the Chase Freedom Card. If you are a student, there's the Chase Student Freedom Card. I think once I was done being a student, they automatically upgraded my card into the Freedom Unlimited. Don't let the name Freedom Unlimited fool you, because there's still like a $2,000 credit limit. I think my credit card started with a $1,000 limit, or maybe $1,500. Every year that you have it and that you stay in good standing with your account, you pay your bills on time, your credit limit will increase. People that go into debt over credit cards, I think they see their limit, they think like $1,000, and they think, now with this card I can go spend $1,000. I don't recommend doing that. Don't do that unless you have $1,000 that you can pay it off right away. That's where people get into debt. They look at credit cards as like, oh, now I have all this money on this card. And it's like, no, the bank did not just give you that money. Like, you don't have that money. Like, yes, they did give you that money, which you can use, but then you're gonna have to pay it back. I just think of it like a debit card, and I don't spend more than I would actually spend my debit card on. So if I'm getting gas, I use my credit card. If I'm getting coffee, I use my credit card for shopping, but then I just pay it off every month. I would be using a debit card for that normally, but instead I use my credit card. The reason I use my credit card is because I want them to see that I'm putting money on it, I'm spending money on it, and then I'm paying it off every month. The other reason that I use the credit card instead of the debit card is because I get cash back. I get points for using my card. There are specific deals where if you shop at certain places, you get money back, but they also just have a general like 1.5% cash back on every purchase. You earn the cash back in the form of points. You can use the points that you earn and that you accumulate through your purchases and redeem them on gift cards. So I've gotten hundreds of dollars in Lululemon gift cards, Apple gift cards, Ulta gift cards. Like seriously, this is a way to earn free stuff just by using the credit card for your everyday purchases that you would otherwise have made with a debit card, and it's just earning stuff for free, which is amazing. There are more advanced credit cards that have annual fees, and then they have even more rewards. So you might be paying $100 every year, but then you earn more rewards that kind of even out the cost of it. There's also credit cards that are like up to $600 every year. You pay that fee to like have that credit card, which seems like a lot. The credit card comes with like free hotel stays, free Ubers, free like dining vouchers and things. You have to investigate, read the fine print, see specifically what the deals are, but some of these credit cards, like you're paying that annual fee, but then it kind of pays for itself because you use the rewards that the credit card gives you. I do think that it's really important, and if you've been thinking about a credit card, I definitely recommend the Chase Freedom card. I have a link to it in the description down below. If you use that referral link, I will get a bonus for referring you, and then you will also get a bonus when you open your Chase Freedom card. That bonus that we get can be redeemed for cash back. You can have the cash directly just put onto your card, or you can have the cash back in the form of gift cards, which I mentioned. There are tons of places, Apple, Lululemon, there's tons of restaurants, like pretty much almost any place you can think of. Maybe not like super small brands, but definitely major brands have the gift cards there. If you have more questions, please leave them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, or if it helped you out, don't forget about those referral codes I mentioned in the description box for an Ally savings account and a Chase Freedom card. If you want to do both or either of those things, definitely use my referral code so that we both get rewarded for that. Subscribe so that you don't miss any of my other videos, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.